Welcome to the Goddard Report. Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Sharon Noble, Director of the BC Coalition to Stop Smart Meters. Welcome to the show, Sharon.
Hello, Jim. Thank you for having me again.
Well, we've always had security concerns about our smart meters because there doesn't seem to be much defense on them to stop somebody from hacking. And when we talk about hacking, now people are hacking baby monitors, they're hacking cars. It looks like hacking anything is now open season.
It looks like it, and it's very easy. From everything we've been seeing recently, anything that is hooked up to the Internet can be easily and readily hackable. And, you know, when you look at the cars, now they're taking over the steering, they're taking over the braking, they're taking over every aspect of the car. It would be a great way for somebody to get even with a mother-in-law, you know, put a hack on the car and have an accident.
You said you didn't want those devices on your car. Did it cost you extra to have them removed?
It did me. We got a new car last year, and it came with all the fancy doodads with the radar and whatever it is that looks at the lines along the side of your car and the Internet connection for your computers and for your cell phones and all this. Yeah, we had to order it special because it comes like that, and you can't turn it off, so you have to get it without it. And so, yeah, it was a special order. It wasn't much, but, you know, we had to wait a while for it. They don't want to make it easy. And now when we're looking back, I mean, there was one of the members of the coalition sent a list, and it goes back to the 2006 model of the Chrysler, and the Toyota Prius, and the Jeep Cherokee, and the Honda Civic. This means that, and they said in the article that anything that is connected to the Internet is hackable. And that means our smart meters that will be and are already connected to the Internet in some respect. As soon as they get these smart appliances that have the Zigbee chip sending all of the signals to the smart meter, that will be available. The baby monitor that was hackable. I mean, that's scary stuff when you've got a stranger watching your baby and listening to you talk to it.
Well, this whole issue of cars being hackable, I did 3 years ago on the Goddard Report, and the automotive industry just laughed. That was their response.
Well, they don't want to admit it. Who would want to buy a car that could be hackable? Do you know there was something, I'm trying to remember, it was some reporter.
Michael Hastings.
Yes. Do you remember that his car went out of control, and they couldn't explain why he lost control of his car and was killed?
Did over 100 miles an hour through a red light, and it was caught on a police video camera, dash cam, and his car went into a bridge abutment and then exploded.
Yep, and he was digging into some very interesting things. And I can't remember what he was working on at that point. I think it was something related to the government.
Well, he'd called Rolling Stone and said he had something he had to talk to them about in person that night. And the police were skeptical that his car had been taken over, but when they went and re-examined the video, they had no other explanation for somebody flooring the car and going through a red light at 100 miles an hour, 160
in a city, in the middle of the city.
And he was a man known for his timid driving.
Yep.
So either he was trying to run away from somebody because he thought his life was in danger, or someone had taken control of his car.
Well, and now when you read all of this stuff, and we saw the video, there was a video we saw where this fellow was agreeable to being taken over by these two people who were some distance away with their laptops. And first of all, they did the radio, then they did the windshield wipers, then they did the little silly innocuous things, and then pretty soon they cut his power. And he was on a freeway. He felt that he was in danger because he was going so slow. And then later, when he was in the middle of a field or a parking lot, they took control of the speed and the steering. And then he lost his brakes.
Well, I know the police have wanted the ability to stop a car so they don't have to get engaged in a high-speed pursuit. But if you install a system like that on a car, what's to stop a bad guy from stopping your car in a bad part of town and robbing you because you can't lock the doors?
Yeah, or they can unlock the doors. I mean, all sorts of things. And this was done with a laptop. If you can do it with a laptop, probably you could do it with one of those smartphones or whatever. This is easily and readily done. We've been told that hacking can be done by any teenager, who sits down and spends a little bit of time investigating it. And we've been told before that people have been able to hack into smart meters very easily and be able to tell if you're home, what kind of your usage patterns are so they can determine when you're gone. Our privacy is being invaded by all of the industries, and few people seem to care about it. I think it's something that really is going to be the crime of the century. It's going to become more common.
Sharon, you said you heard of a plan by utility companies to turn your smart meter into part of a supercomputer so that it's on all the time, not just part of the time.
Well, your smart meters are on all of the time anyway, but what it's doing, though, is sending out signals, maybe 20,000 signals a day, but they're very short signals, so you might be getting a signal every, say, 20 seconds. That means that 19 seconds are not being used out of that period. Out of every 20 seconds, 19 seconds are not being used. All of a sudden, these computer companies are saying, wow, this is something we could use. We could turn this into a supercomputer. If we can turn all of the smart meters in a particular neighborhood into a computer for us, if we can use all that spare time, we could have a supercomputer. It wouldn't cost us a thing because people have already paid for them. The time is there. All of the connections to the internet and everything are already there. Yeah, this is something that they are planning to do. They'd probably pay the utilities for use of our smart meters on our homes for this sort of, commercial enterprise.
I was going to say, would they compensate the homeowners who are being used without their knowledge?
I doubt it very much. The company said it would be the cheapest supercomputer in the world. It's there. It would be ideal for industry. I doubt it's the utility people they're talking to. They're not talking to us. And this transmitter that is on our home is being driven by a computer. And that's one of the problems with the smart meters, at least as far as the costs are concerned. They will be never-ending, just as never-ending costs with any computer. They always have to be upgraded. They're always having to be changed. And we would pay for that, and the industry would reap the benefits by being able to continue on with their supercomputers. Absolutely horrible. Not only would we be paying for this, but it would increase the level of radio frequency radiation, of microwave radiation that we'd be exposed to. Because not only are we getting exposed to perhaps 20,000 signals a day, we're now being exposed to frequencies between those signals. We would be exposed to more radiation at various frequencies all day.
How is your effort to find out about smart meter fires in BC going?
Well, I think I told you that I sent Bill Bennett a registered letter with all of the information, including the briefing document from Texas. I sent that by registered letter on, I believe it was June 24th, and I still haven't received a response. I have also copied every MLA, including John Horgan, and I've received no response from any of those people. A few days later, I sent a copy of it to the IBEW in Vancouver, because if you remember, the lawsuit in Texas was because of an IBEW union member who had spoken out about the dangers of smart meters because he was worried that some of the union members were going to be hurt if these meters exploded when they were working on them. So I sent it to the IBEW union, telling them about all the dangers, providing them with a copy of the lawsuit in Texas. I received no response from them. So today I sent that same information off to the national body of the IBEW. I don't know why no one is paying attention to this. Of course, I'm not surprised that the general media is not picking up on it. They don't want to know. But you'd think that somebody would be interested in the idea of a recall of a defective product. And I think the next thing I'm going to do is to send this to some federal agencies who handle recalls, and I'm also going to send it to the U.S. Consumer Affairs, because they do not consider smart meters consumer products as they do in Canada, and they are looking at the safety of smart meters.
We'll have more with Sharon Noble right after this.
More and more people are looking to the internet. for intelligent, riveting, and thought-provoking interviews. To advertise on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com, call 604-699-8600, 604-699-8600.
In Goddard we trust.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Sharon Noble, director of the BC Coalition to Stop Smart Meters. Sharon, you said you talked to a U.S. insurance adjuster who says he's seen lots of fires caused by smart meters. What's the response of the U.S. insurance industry?
Sadly, it's the same as it is here. In fact, he told me that just in the week prior to our communication, he had reports of 2 smart meter fires, but by the time he got to the home to do the investigation, because he is an insurance inspector, the utility company had removed the smart meter. Just as they are in British Columbia, the utility companies are taking the smart meters off the homes so that they can't be inspected. He says that this is happening over and over again, and he is not able to complete his investigation. And he said that he knows that the insurance companies are being reimbursed by the utility companies for the claims that they are paying for their clients. I believe this is happening in British Columbia. I believe that this is happening across Canada. And if it is, I don't know if it's illegal, but it sure is unethical. What the insurance companies are doing is that they are refusing to provide their clients with copies of any fire reports that they've written. There's a fire in Vernon that I've been trying to help get information. I've been trying to help the victim get information now for well over a year. Her fire occurred in December of 2013. A family member was outside, saw the fire, saw the sparks from the smart meter, ran into the house, alerted everybody. They called 911 and got out of the house. The house was soon engulfed. The fire department is a small volunteer department. They handled the fire as best they could. She lost everything. They had no inspector. So the only inspection that was done was by the insurance company. When she asked for a copy of the fire report, the insurance inspector told her, "Don't worry, we're going to pay your claims. You don't need to see the report." Then she was notified that her insurance premiums were going to be increasing $800 a year. She asked why. What was the cause of the fire? And he says, "Well, you had a fire, we paid the claims, your premiums are going up." They wouldn't show her the fire report. I have been trying to follow it. And about a week ago, I received a letter from the fire inspector for the insurance company telling me they would not provide the fire report. It belonged to them because they paid for it. Why it belonged to them, I don't know, because it is paid for through your insurance premiums. And he said they would not share it because there might be litigation with the utility company. Now, what does that tell you? They've already increased your premiums, and they're going to be going after Hydro or Itron to recover the claims. And this is happening. I've been told about this before.
So the only way you're going to get information is to sue the insurance company so that there's disclosure.
Yep, that seems to be it. And you're paying your $800 or whatever it is, your increased premiums, for a fire that was not your fault. The insurance company isn't paying any claims. If the insurance companies were paying claims for all of the fires and all of the damages that have been caused, they would have come out with a hue and cry. Insurance companies don't lose money. If they learn that there is a new risk, whether it's a new drug, whether it's a new sport, whether it's a new disease, they either increase their premiums across the board or they exclude the hazard. Like Lloyd's of London has made it clear they will not pay any health claims related to exposure to microwave or wireless radiation. They've made that clear. They've determined that this is a risk. The same thing would happen here. The insurance companies would say, we will not pay any claims for fires caused by smart meters because they're not certified safe. They're being put into a meter base that is not compatible with a smart meter. Yet they're not. They're not saying a thing, which to me says that they are not losing any money on it. And this is what this inspector in the U.S. told me, that this is what he is seeing, and he is quite fed up with it.
Sharon, anything else you wanted to add to the report today?
Not that I can think of, Jim. There's a lot going on, but it's just the same old, same old. The people in Fortis are being intimidated with threats of having their power turned off. People are writing letters and saying that their doctors have warned them not to have a smart meter. And Fortis is ignoring and intimidating them the same way as BC Hydro did. No, I can't think of anything else. It's the same old, Jim. But we're continuing to work. There are many groups across the United States and Canada that are continuing to pressure. More lawsuits are popping up. I think that the momentum is building, and I think this fire issue is going to bring this to a head. I hope the people will write to their MLAs and will write to their local newspapers about the fire issue. I hope they will, if they're union members, write to the IBEW and ask why they aren't taking action on this, why they're allowing their members to be exposed to it.
Sharon, can you again remind people where they can find you on the internet?
Certainly. The Coalition's website is www.stopsmartmetersbc.com, and our other one with all of our information about our class action lawsuit and all of the health effects is on www.citizensforsafetechnology.org.
Sharon, thank you very much for chatting with us.
It was my pleasure, Jim. Thank you.
My guest has been Sharon Noble, Director of the BC Coalition to Stop Smart Meters. You're listening to the Goddard Report on TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Check out our YouTube channel, Talk Digital Network. Find us on Twitter at TalkDigitalNet. Comments or questions about our show can be sent to info@howstreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard.
Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. The Goddard Report is available online and mobile at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. The Goddard Report is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.